Hi, hello, and welcome to another episode of Live with Mz.KIR. I want to take the time out to thank everybody who's taking their time out on this Friday night in March, the first Friday in March, to watch Live with Mz.KIR because you could be doing anything else, but you're tuned in here, and I greatly appreciate you. So I am your host. Tanisha, aka Ms. Kier, capital K, capital I, capital R, which stands for Keeping It Real, the poetic lyricist, also
Ooh.
known as Topra.
Yeah.
Um, a little private joke between me and Orlando Chandler and James Ellerby. Shout outs to them. Um, and tonight we have two special guests. Our first guest is Shai Moonlight. Everybody out there in Facebook land, YouTube land, show
Woo.
your love. Shai Moonlight. And we
Welcome.
have our second guest. Show your love, everybody out there, for Carla Cherry.
Yes.
And we have two co-hosts. We have a returning co-host. Show your love to Rosalia. Come on, Facebook. I need that energy. And show your love.
Oh,
Oh no, things are
okay.
froze.
Let's give her a minute. She gonna come back. She gonna come
Yeah.
back ready.
Yeah.
I am just so y'all know while we are kind of paused for the moment. I got my iPad right here, so I'm engaging with my people and I'm texting. But I promise you, I'm fully focused right here. Okay.
All right.
Awesome. Yeah. I think she was just about to introduce me. I'm Heavenly Harmony. I was on the show in December of last year. So I'm so excited to come back and be as a co-host. Yeah. We'll wait. We'll give her a few minutes to join. And she is just coming back.
There she go.
And she's back.
Okay.
Yay.
Yay!
Welcome back.
Little technical difficulty at the moment, but I'm back. Okay. So as I was saying,
Uh-oh.
welcome to Live with Miss Kier.
Yes.
I am your host, Tanisha, aka Ms. Kier. Capital K, capital I, capital R, the poetic lyricist, which stands for Keeping It Real, representing the Writer's Block Poetry Collective. Show your love for the Writer's Block Poetry Collective. Long live the Writer's Block, established January 21st, 2009. We're about to
Uh-oh.
come
Is
back
it
strong.
choppy to y'all or is it just me?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I
Yes.
Okay.
can hear you.
Okay.
Okay, it's just me. Y'all carry on.
Okay. Established January 21st, 2009. Long live the Writer's Block. We got special guests, and we're going to be breezy. So, everybody in the comments, show your love to the co host and our wonderful guest tonight.
Yeah. Woo.
Yes. So, we're going to start with Shy Moonlight first. Shy Moonlight, tell the people who you are in my Mufasa voice from The Lion King.
Tell them who you are. Come on. I also like scars. Be prepared, but we're not gonna go there. Um, I am Brittany. I am. I go by Shy Moonlight. That is my stage and pen name. I have been writing since I was 14 years old. Poetry was my therapy. I was introduced to Jill Scott and Neo Soul, and then found out she was a poet, and was like, "Oh, I want to do that." So I started writing when I was 14 years old. Um, my report card money always went to school supplies, notebooks and pens and things. And when I was 14 years old, I decided I wanted to buy a notebook and write poetry, and that's what I started doing. And it wasn't until last year, 2017, 2024, when I turned 36 years old, I went to an open mic. I've been going to open mics since I was in my early 20s. So 2009, 2010, I've been admiring spoken word, like on the deaf poetry scale, but then also on the local scene in a huge way. And there happened to be an open mic on my birthday last year, and I went and I admired and I enjoyed, and I found out that there was a workshop that was happening every week, and I started going. And then in March of 2024, I got on my first stage. I got my first mic, and it is what I have always wanted to do, but didn't think I could. My poetry, my artistry has always just been for me. I didn't even identify myself as a poet until last year. Um, it was only for me. And so to be in this space now, my highest self as Shai Moonlight. Shai is Swahili for the personification of destiny. Moonlight being an ever present, ever changing, just entity, right? The moon. I ain't never seen the sun during at nighttime, but you can look up and see the moon in the middle of the day and all of its phases and changes. It is so powerful and cosmically shifting, and I desire to be that, to change the energy in the room. I feel like I've always been that, even in deep, dark moments. And so, again, poetry has always been my therapy. It's always been my outlet, and it's always been just for me. And now, being in the place of healing, which is a verb and is active and is always happening, I am in a space where sharing the words that God gives me, however they come. It might be some profanity in there. I won't share them tonight. But however the words are given to me, to share them and know that it is relatable and helpful to other people has been um, confirmation of my purpose. So that is who I am.
Yeah. Welcome, Shai Moonlight.
Thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you.
We're so glad to have you.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm going to go to the comments real quick. We have my mom in the comments. She's in the building. Barbara Marie, show your
Come on,
love.
mama.
And, and I just want to let you guys know, tune in next week because my mom will be my special guest. So we'll be talking
Yes.
about,
Ooh.
yes, show your love for my mom. Yes. We'll be talking about her lovely book here, Pretty
Oh,
Ugly, How Low Self-Esteem Almost Ruined My Life by my
Mm.
mom.
Come on,
awesome.
mama.
Okay.
Congratulations. Woo.
So,
That
yes.
is that the name of it? That's
Yes.
the title.
Yes. Pretty Ugly.
How low self-esteem almost ruined my life
Yes. By
is
my mom. Show your
my
love out there,
story.
Facebook fans. For my mom. Yes. She will be on next week.
That's
We're going to be
amazing.
breezy with my mom. We're going to be talking about her life and growing up in Brick City and her book. So show your love. Also, we have in the building Gladys Moore Bryce of the Small Business Network. So shout out to her. And speaking of the Small Business Network, shout out to Indigo Divine Brown, Commissioner Dr. James McConnell, Sean A. White, Trinity, and Latanya Davis Floyd, and the list goes on. So shout out to them. Okay. Next up, Miss Carla Cherry. Tell the people out there
Woo.
who you are in my Mufasa voice from The Lion King.
You are.
Who I am. So I am from the Bronx, New York, born and raised, still live.
DX in the
That's
building.
right, BX.
I don't know nothing about that, but I just know this.
It is the home of hip hop, and I've always loved language. I've been reading since I was 2 years old. Um,
Oh,
Nikki Giovanni, of course, is the one who made me fall in love with poetry, especially her poem "Ego Tripping."
yes,
I
that's
read
my
that
favorite.
poem, and I was like, "That's what I want to do. I want to write a poem." And I wrote one in her style. It wasn't great, but it set me on the path to playing with language and finding different ways to make meaning. I remember sitting on the floor of my bedroom, 10 years old, and with my father's old typewriter, trying to write a novel. I don't know where that thing is now, but I've come and gone with taking writing seriously. I would write poems here and there, but it wasn't until my father passed away in 2005 that I really turned to poetry to heal and to find joy again, because losing my father just really broke my heart. I met um, I met my cousin Alice at his funeral. I think I'd seen her when I was younger, and I didn't see her again until my dad's funeral. And she had written a book of poetry called Up Close and Personal, and I put it on my bookshelf. And then a couple months later, I was cleaning, and I found her book, and I was like, "Oh, let me check this out." And I started reading, and I was like, "This is really cool. Maybe I should do something." And so, 6 books and 3 chapbooks later, here I am. So
Oh,
I've been teaching English for 29 years, and I try to get my students to write poetry. And so, yeah, I write poetry to speak about different issues going on in the world, to spread love, to spread hope, um, advocate for justice. And so that's me.
Okay.
well, welcome,
Jeez.
welcome, Miss Kyla,
29
welcome.
years in education. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Holly.
Woo,
Because I
child.
couldn't do it.
A lot of people say that.
It's not my ministry, and I'm okay with that.
I hear you.
Yes,
Yeah.
It is a ministry.
absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So we're gonna go back to the comments real quick. Uh, let's see here. Gladys said, "Congrats to your mom." We have Donna Banks. She has entered the building.
All right,
She says,
Donna.
"Hello, everyone." Gladys Moore said, "The boogie down." My mom said, "Thank you, Gladys Moore Bryce."
My mama's a barber too.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
I got my iPad over here. You didn't hear me say this, Mz.KIR, but I promise I'm paying attention. I just got my iPad on the side.
Okay. So, Rosalia, my wonderful guest, co-host. Rosalia, tell the people who you are in my Mufasa voice from The Lion King.
Okay. Rosalia, I am a grandmother. Some people don't know that. I'm a mother. Yes, I have a 22-year-old daughter. I'm a poet, a lover of poetry, a lover of freedom, a lover of ascension and spirituality.
Yeah.
I also come from New York, but I'm from the Lower East Side, so on the other side of the Bronx. So way in the lower section. But I say that will sum it up for now. Because I'm a Scorpio, so I'm a little mysterious. So
Hey.
Scorpio too.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
We in the building tonight being breezy. So, Heavenly Harmonies.
Yes.
Tell the people who you are in my Mufasa voice from The Lion King.
Okay, yeah. Hi everyone. I'm Heavenly Harmony. That's my stage name. I am a poet, a writer. I like same as Shai Moonlight. I've been writing poetry since I was a teenager. But my poetry, I was never sharing my poetry. It was just basically keeping to myself. And the reason was because I didn't think I was good enough because I didn't go to school for poetry. I didn't take any poetry training or any poetry classes to write poetry. So I didn't think I was good enough for my poetry. And I love poetry, I love to read it. So I would read poetry online or read poetry books. So I started actually sharing my poetry just last year. I have a Facebook page or YouTube, and my poetry has grown with a short amount of time that I just started being like open with my poetry. And so now my poetry, I focus my poetry. I do poetries at weddings, funerals, group homes, art museums, any local community. I'm located in California. So my poetry, I do local poetry in California, but I post my poetry online, spoken poetry online on my YouTube and my TikTok channel. So I'm excited to be here and to listen to this wonderful poetry from Shai, Moonlight, and Carla. And so, yeah, that's me.
California love. California love. Okay, we're going to go back to the comments real quick. Gladys Moore Bryce says, sorry for your loss at Carla and Cherry.
Thank you.
Brittany said, peace to the tree.
Shout out to the poetry family.
Carla Cherry said, Gladys Moore Bryce, thank you. Teresa Hazel Eyes is in the building. Teresa has now become a part of the writer's block. So show your love for Teresa Hazel Eyes. Hey, Teresa. And my mom, Barbara Marie, said, my condolences to you and your family. And Brittany said, Trey Fleming with the hearts.
That's my poetry family, so I had to shout him out because he's logged on.
Okay. Well, shout out to the poetry family.
Thank you.
Okay, so Rosalia, do you have any questions for Shai Moonlight?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, so we had discussed earlier about writing style, and I heard that last year is when you were inspired to get into spoken word. How did it feel breaking that? How did your breakthrough feel during your first performance? How did that feel to you?
Nerve-wracking. I am an introvert at heart. It doesn't come across that way because I have been actively healing. I am a person who I grew up like this. Y'all know the church finger? Like you always in the way. Right? You always in the way. Let me get out the way. Let me move on. Let me get out. And I love my mother. That is the way that she is. And she raised me. So it's get out the way, go on about your business, handle your business. Spotlight's not necessary. I've also grown up with very low self-esteem. And I don't know whose fault that is. I'm not going to put that on anybody. I'm not going to say that's my mama. Nature versus nurture. I'm a person who has just always been okay with being in the background. So when I say that I've been writing poetry since I was 14, going to open mics since I was in my early 20s, 2009, 2010, I literally sat in the corners of these venues, and one of the poems will say that I do tonight. But I've literally sat in the corners of these venues and open mics, just admiring people and wishing that I could be that. And every year, there are transformative moments that happen in your life, right? So unfortunately, mine was a divorce. So I'm going through this divorce, and I'm finding myself, and I'm deciding that I want to do and be these things that I've always wanted to do and be. And do an open mic has been on my New Year's resolution list for years. I'm going to get on the stage. I'm going to do open mic. I'm going to actually participate in these things that I enjoy and I admire so much. And I finally did it at my big age of 36. Last year, I finally did it. And it felt like, and I was also in a place and have been in a place of transparency. So I'm not up there acting like I'm bold and I'm ready. I'm up there like, my nerves are terrible. My hands are shaking and I'm afraid and I don't know what to do. And I was embraced. This is the reason why I'm shouting out the tree the way I am. I was embraced by the poetry family, POETREE family, Columbia based, founded and facilitated by Bugsy Calhoun. I was embraced by this group of artists who made me feel okay. And I know that I've been writing, I've been doing this, but to be embraced by a group of supportive people who feel me and understand me, and I have grown so much personally as an artist and in so many ways. So that feeling of like nervousness and I felt like I was supposed to be there. I'm supposed to be on a mic, which is when I decided every time I go to an event where there's an open mic, I'm putting my name on the list. They may not call it, and sometimes I hope they don't call it, but I'm gonna put my name on the list. And it has been transformative to say the least.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
That was
Long story short.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Heavenly Harmonies, do you have a
yes.
question for our other guest, Carla Cherry?
Yeah, Carla, Sherry, you said you've written about 4 to 6 books right now. Is that correct?
6 full-length collections and 3 chapbooks.
And can you which one? Wow, amazing. Yeah. Which one is your favorite?
Wow, people always ask me that, and I never know how to answer. Um, I would have to say my favorite is my book, May He Bless My Name, which is a poetic memoir about my experience as a mother. I would say that one is my favorite because I allowed myself to be the most vulnerable in that book. So I would say that is my favorite book. May He Bless My Name.
Will you be sharing some tonight?
I will share some poems from that tonight.
Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. I can't wait.
Yes, looking forward to that.
Mhm.
So, Shai, Moonlight, back to you. Speaking
Yes.
of sharing poems, can you share one of your poems with us tonight?
I think I'm gonna start light. I'm gonna start with a light and a short poem.
Okay.
Cool.
Everybody show your love.
Just
Show your
snap, snap,
love.
So
snap,
I
drum
call this
rolls.
poem Momentary Distraction. It
Mm.
was inspired by I was just walking. I work at a hospital, so I was walking to the cafeteria to get breakfast one morning, and one of the men doing facilities, like just groundskeeping or whatever, was doing his thing. I didn't see this man. Saw a black man, okay, and I love me a black man. And so I went back to my desk and I wrote this poem. It's called
Mm.
Momentary Distraction.
Mm.
There is extra femininity in my stride when I walk by a hard black man. It is instinctual. I see him and feel my posture correct. Subconsciously straighten stray locks in anticipation of potential admiration. He may not be my type and I may not be his, but maybe he'll be drawn to my melanin or to my proportions. And if I am his type, I want him to enjoy watching as my hips sway freely, to see the subtle jiggle and bounce that reverberate with each step. And I don't need to see him watch me walk by like Loretta Devine and Waiting to Exhale. Okay. To know that he might. So I, with my head held high, just nod and smile. I'm going to find something to compliment. That beard is bearding. Don't work too hard. Stay cool in this heat. And I go on about my business and him to his. I hope he enjoyed this momentary distraction as much as I did. That's the piece.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Where's the drums
Ooh,
at in the
love
comments? I see finger snaps. I need some more drums in the comments, folks.
it.
Where's the drum? Snap it up, clap it up for Shy Moonlight, folks.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
You can't see the blush through the melanin, but
No,
I'm
I was
blushing.
getting a little hot over here, and I was like, woo. Okay.
We're gonna go back to the comments real quick. Oh, Kanisha Love Taylor has entered the building. Kanisha was a guest on Live with Ms. KIR back in September, but she's in the building today as audience
Yes.
support. Kanisha, yes. Also, we have, okay, I don't want to butcher your name, Collins Lamour. I hope I said that right.
Oh, even more. Yeah, shout out.
She said, hey. Teresa Hazel Eyes did the drums. Brittany said, peace, Anthony Patterson.
My
Collins
best
Lamore
friend.
said, woo. And Teresa Hazel Eyes did 3 snaps, not one, okay,
Mhm.
not 2, but she
Three
did
snaps and a
3.
twist.
Okay. Donna Banks also did the 3 snaps.
Stop, stop.
Thank you all.
And
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Collins Lamore said, wow, that was beautiful. My
Yes, yes.
mom, Barbara Marie, said, yeah. And Brittany
That was
Jones,
me. That's me.
yes. Brittany did
Yeah,
the
that's me.
smiley,
I'm
smiley
Brittany
emoji.
Jones.
And Gladys Moore Bryce did 4. Okay. 4. Finish that. Okay. Anthony Patterson, excuse me, Anthony Peterson said amazing. Anthony Peterson is in the building.
Anthony
Also in the
Peterson is my
building.
best friend.
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
Jonathan Ware is in the building. Jonathan Ware was a guest on my show twice, once with James Parrish back in, what was that, August, and then again in November. So Jonathan is in the building and he did 3 claps. Patrick McCormick did 3 snaps. Okay, you're getting a lot of
Ooh,
snaps there.
yeah.
Ciara Chankin did the hearts. You got 4. And Gladys Moore Bryce said she's having Wi-Fi issues, so she'll have to log off and return. And Jonathan Ware also says, keep up the great work, Miss KIR. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for this platform, Ms. KIR.
Ooh,
We're
yeah.
being breezy tonight, okay? We're being breezy on this Friday. So, Carla, back to you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, can you share a poem with us tonight?
Sure. So this poem is called Wonder, and it's from May He Bless My Name.
Mhm.
Even we nerdy 5th-grade girls pass around, "Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret, at lunch. We must increase our bust." We rock back and forth with laughter. I almost choke on my pizza. Thank God for Judy Bloom. She helps me understand why I squeezed my chest with my hands into the shape of a bosom when I was 8. Why I twirled in the mirror with the training bras mommy bought when I was 9. My first kiss, age 10, with M in the back seat. Soft pressing peck while our mothers shop for groceries. I daydream first dates. But the afternoon of the Bloody Mire, when I'm 12, I cry in mommy's arms over the cottony bulk between my hips. What must be done each month with my calendar? How heavy boy crushes have become. I plead for the backward march of time.
Ooh, yes,
Oh,
That was
yes.
beautiful.
Oh,
Beautiful, 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 beautiful.
beautiful.
Thank you so much.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, Carla. Carla's in the building, folks. She in the building, being breezy
Yeah,
with us.
yeah.
Bronx girls don't play.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Rosalia, you have a question for Carla?
Yes, I do. All right. Let me get my questions.
Okay.
What advice would you give to an up and coming spoken word artist or an up and coming writer on how to finally publish that book or how to network?
Me
Oh,
this.
good question,
That's a
Rosalia.
good
Excellent question.
question. I actually would benefit from the answer. Thank you, Rosalie.
So I always tell people the first thing to do is to work on your craft. Read a lot. Read poetry, read novels, read comic books, read essays, read news articles. Just read and really study how people form their sentences and how they create imagery and how they create characters. And even if poetry is going to be the only genre that you write in, you really want to study the craft of writing, because poetry is about taking something very ordinary and blowing some magic into it, right? So study your craft first, and then, you know, get in the habit of writing on a regular basis. Have a writing routine. It doesn't have to be every day. Doesn't have to be the same time every day, but just get in the habit of writing. Take writing workshops if you can, and build a writing community. Like, that's part of how you network. When I was at City College of New York, I was in an MFA program, and so I'm still cool with the people that were in my program, and we networked. One of us started a writers group, and we would critique each other's poems. Somebody in that group, or two people in that group, actually started a lit magazine. So build a writing community, and then once you feel like you want to start putting a book together, that's great. But before you even do that, start submitting individual poems for publication. You want to build up publication credits, not only because it's a good thing for developing your craft and building community, but also it gives you a chance to see like which one of your poems work, which may need some work, and once you're ready to publish your book, if you can say, "Oh, I was published in this publication and that publication," not only will that draw readers to your work, but also when you start sending your book out to publishing houses, it helps to have publishing credit. So that's some of the advice I would give to someone who wants to become a professional writer.
Oh, very well stated. We're going to go back to the comments real
Mm-hmm.
quick. The comments is lit tonight, folks. Okay, Gladys Moore
Yeah.
Bryce did one, two, three, four drums. Sky Moonlight gave you four snaps. Poessence Spoken Word is in the building. Hey, Poessence. Poessence was a
Yeah.
guest and also a co-host. And she will be co-hosting next week as we interview my mom. And speaking of Poessence, she's got a book that just came out. Bam! A Journey Through Her Eyes, a palindrome of poetry
Ooh,
by
I love
Poessence
the
Spoken
Mm,
love the
Word.
title.
nice.
Okay,
I
so
love the
folks, show
title.
your love for Poessence. Go get her book. Go get her book, folks. Okay, I got my copy right here. Also, Shy Moonlight gives the four snaps, and my cousin Saraya Lewis is in the building.
Yes.
And
Mm.
Poessence said, yes, love the writing community. And oh, Cherokee Blanchard, Cherokee is in the building. Her and I go back a ways. She used to come to a lot of my poetic lives, and she's in the building tonight. So everybody, show your love for Cherokee Blanchard. Also, Poessence said, "Hey, Rosalia." She said, also says, "I wish you all love and blessings." And Poessence said, "Thank you, Mz.KIR. You're welcome, Poessence." That's my folks, people. That's my folks. Poessence right there. Okay. Me and Poessence, we go way, way back. Like three-finger nugget rings. Well, no, not
Come
that far back.
on.
Not quite that far back, but we go back. And my cousin Saranya Lewis said, "Love everything." Thank you, cousin. We appreciate you tuning in. So shout out to everybody who is tuning in. Show your love.
Mm.
And let's see. Shy Moonlight, I
Yes,
got a
ma'am.
question for you.
Yes.
Okay. Who are your top three poets?
I will forever and always say Jill, Gil, and Nikki.
Okay.
Jill
Yes.
Scott is the reason that I write.
Okay.
I
Jenny from Philly.
discovered I'll do this poem later, but I am Jill's daughter. Okay.
Okay.
Um, so I won't say too much about that until I do the poem. Gil Scott Heron, I don't
Okay.
think I need to say too much. Nikki Giovanni, I don't think I need to say too much. These are
Yes.
poets who are very straightforward. They are who they are. They're while they are performing and expressing who they are, there is no question. I don't know how to let's see, how do I articulate this? While they are creative and artists in their own ways, always, there's nothing fake about it. It's so direct. There's nothing that you have to interpret or figure out. And I am that way. I always tell people you don't have to assume anything about me.
Mhm.
I say what I mean and I mean what I say. And those three, I'm not a, while I've been a poet for a long, 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 long time, I am not a student of poetry. I can't go through the archives and tell you all the things about all the poets, be it Harlem Renaissance or not. Zora Neale Hurston, that's my sorrow. Okay, I
Okay.
I can't do too much, and I'm not gonna act like I can. Jill, Gil, and Nikki. Long answer short. Jill, Gil, and Nikki.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, all right. My cousin Zaranya Lewis said, I actually met Nikki in person while in college. Wow, nice.
Yes, that's amazing. Peace to the ancestors.
Yeah, absolutely. Carla, I'm going to ask you the same question. Who are your top three?
Ooh. Um, Sonia Sanchez is one. Maya Angelou. Um, hmm. And Nikki Giovanni's got to be up there. Yeah. Yeah, but there are so
Mama
many I could
Giovanni.
name, but those are the three that come to mind immediately.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rosalia, do you have a question for Shy Moonlight?
Hmm.
mm, you got for
Okay,
me,
yes, yes, yes,
Rosalia.
yes. You mentioned divorce.
I did.
So I need to know, do you have a purge poem? Do you have
Mm,
a
Ooh.
I got rid of that, I'm clean, I'm
mm.
a healing poem?
Hmm. Rosalia, wait a minute now, girl. I don't think so. I don't know that I do. I
Ooh,
feel
Kip.
like, I'm sorry,
Hmm.
what were you gonna say?
Okay, okay. I have the thought.
I think that, like I said, I'm not trying to sound extra deep when I say this. I'm not extra poetic or extra artisty when I say this. But when the words come to me, I put them on paper. I'm having to be more intentional about it now that I am performing and slamming and doing different things. Um, but I'm sure I wrote my way through my divorce.
Mm.
And like I said, healing, and it's on my wall, my vision board and my word for the year right here on my wall. Heal is a verb. It is something that is always happening, and it is something that I am always doing. And even before I realized it, I was doing it through poetry. Um, so while I don't have one specifically for that, now I gotta write it.
That was
Once you see
that
the
Yes.
was my
finger,
next question. Could we hear it when
and
you
now
do
I
write
gotta. I think that everything that you hear me do tonight will be a reflection of the healing that I've done since my divorce.
Mm.
Hmm.
Everything that I've written, my divorce was finalized in 2022. We decided to divorce in 2020. It was the thick of the pandemic. Okay, we were working opposite schedules. We got kids, and things just worked out. It wasn't the right time to physically separate, but the emotional separation and the conversation happened in 2020. So we're golly, that's 5 years ago. So almost 5 years ago, emotionally, I detached from that. So everything I've written from that point is essentially kind of me working through that. So I'm sure I do, but not one intentional piece. And now I gotta write it. Thank you.
That's right. Okay.
Because that I ain't gotta worry about time with that one. Oh, I got too much to say.
Okay.
And now you have the
Yes,
platform to say it, right? It's a good thing.
absolutely. And
Yeah.
it's nothing negative.
Hmm.
Just to be clear, it's nothing negative. It's not about him. It's not about the marriage. It's not about the situation. It's about me.
Mm.
And yeah, I'm gonna write that piece. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I have a question for both you, Carla and Shai. Um, Shai, when you perform your poem, how do people describe it? How do they relate to your poem?
I think that what I get a lot of feedback about is the imagery. Apparently, I paint pictures well. Maybe I'm a great storyteller. I'm having to work through not writing pieces from the first person point of view because what I had to explain to Moses Oaktree, who now goes by Moses Freeman, shout out to him. He had the weekly workshop that he essentially coached me to my first stage and my first feature. And one thing that he is big on is like, you got to flip this switch. But for me, my poetry has always been nonfiction. Everything is about me. So I'm really working on telling the story through another lens, through somebody else's point of view. But the words are given to me based on me. I don't know if that answers your question.
No, like that. No,
But
I get it.
okay, yeah. So that's something I'm working on, but for sure everything is through my eyes in the first person.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, it makes sense. How about you? I know Ms. Kyle, you have many experience writing. What are some how do people connect to your poetry? What are some comments they said?
Well, generally, my poetry does tend to be narrative, and people have said that they could relate to something I had talked about in my poem. I also try to use imagery to help people connect to what I'm talking about. So, yeah, usually people feel like they can relate to something that I've said.
So
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, Shai, Moonlight. Can you do another poem for us tonight?
of course I can. I'll do another one from memory.
Ooh.
I call this poem, I think I mentioned earlier, my poems are largely woman, motherhood, and mental health based. So I call this poem Now, period, then, period, again, period. Okay? Every now and then my mind runs so fast I almost lose it. In fact, to be honest, I have a time or two, but grace and mercy allowed me to catch up. I am educated and I am educated and medicated, therapized, and still I find myself sinking again, longing for non-existence, teetering the fine line between coping and existence. Why won't this thing loose me? After all of the altar calls, still I find more peace in alcohol and I am tired. But my therapist says she's proud of me, that I've made so much progress and I agree today. But what about tomorrow? When my chemicals get to imbalancing again and focusing on affirmations, gratitude, and moon phases make no changes, and all I can do is ruminate on what could have been and what should have been, what would have been, praying, God, please, can I make it through? Do I deserve to make it through this feeling again? That's the piece.
Yeah, girl. Where's
Yeah.
the thumbs that in the comments, folks? Need those thumbs.
Thank you,
Yes.
thank you, thank you,
Mm.
thank you.
So we're gonna go back to the comments real quick. Zaranya Lewis said, "You all are truly gifted." Poetess
Thank you.
Spoken Word said, I love imagery and wordplay. And she gave you a bunch of snaps. Girl, child. Okay, wait.
Thank
One,
you, ma'am.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,
And I'll
11,
take them all.
12. Okay.
Give me all the snaps, boo. I thank you.
She gave you a lot of snaps. Teresa Hazel Eyes did 1, 2, 3, 4 drums and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Woo. Love all the comments. They're all amazing comments.
Thank you. Thank you all.
I think she froze. Oh no.
Uh-oh. She'll be
It's
back. She'll be
here.
back. Let's give
Be
her a minute.
back. Teresa Hazeles says, "Oh, can you snap, snap, snaps?" I guess I can go ahead and read the comments and we'll wait for her to come. And then Jonathan Ware says, "Nice." Barbara Marie says, "All right, all right." Gladys Moore Price says, "Powerful with 4 snaps." Woo! Yeah. And then Collins Lamore said, "Dope." And Sarah Jenkins said, "Very touching, very touching." And then
Awesome.
Kanisha Love Taylor said, "This is beautiful."
There
And
she
then
goes. She's coming back.
she's coming back. Here she is.
Okay. Some technical difficulties. I don't know what's
Miss
going
Kia, I
on.
was just reading the comments for you on your behalf.
Oh, thank you so much, Heavenly Harmonies. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Okay. So, Carla, can you share another poem with us, please?
Yes, ma'am. So this one is called Wisp, and it's also from May He Bless My Name. We 4, between 10 and 13 years old, concrete stoop beneath our denim-clad bottoms, slurp cherry, orange, lime popsicles, toss around our dreams for the future like yo-yos. 7, they exclaim, when I announce the number of children I want to have. Girly giggles. I will go to college, I say, marry at 22, and soon after, my husband and I will have a baby every 2 years until we achieve my magic number. We will be young enough to keep up with and understand our boy, then girl, then girl, then boy, then boy, then girl, then boy. They will be fast friends, book brilliant, quick-handed if someone bothers their siblings. We will be done raising them by our mid-50s. A big family, steaming bowls of soul, laughter around a long dining table. Somebody close to your age is always around to confide in. But when I am 21, in January 1993, what I want most is for my period to come.
Ooh. Wow.
That was
I
profound.
love how I can get lost into your narrative. It's so beautiful. Like I
Yeah.
wanted to keep going. I don't want it to stop.
That's exactly how I felt. That's exactly how I felt.
Thank you so much.
Yes, that was very profound. Very
Mhm.
profound.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah, it was. Can I also say that the way you wear your locks is the way I love? I love to have my locks up in my face or on the side, and so to hear you and see you is just it's beautiful to me.
Thank you. Our hair is beautiful. I thank God every day for it.
Now you done. I done figured out my fourth poem. Go ahead.
I thought about cutting them, but I'm like, I don't know. I think I want to keep them this
You
long.
do what you got to do. They'll grow back, and they'll be even
Roll
more
back.
illustrious and tell even a newer, better, more prominent story in the next go
And
round.
the longer you have them, you become attached to them. Like they become like another part of you. You can
Sure.
imagine cutting
Absolutely.
them off.
Yeah. Wow.
Miss Carla, I
Okay.
have a question for you. Have you done any book tours?
Oh, did you say me or Shai?
Miss Carla,
This
I
is
was
her.
talking to
Oh,
you.
sorry. Book tour. Well, okay. So I've had 2 book release parties, and I'm going to have one next month. But I haven't done book tours. I would like to. I have to figure out how to balance um, teaching and the rest of my life with going on book tours. I haven't
Right.
figured it out yet, but I'm going to. I think it's something that is really important for authors to do because the best way to sell your books is just to connect with people. So many people are putting out books now that self-publishing is so possible
Available.
and so easy. And
Mm-hmm.
so, you can kind of get lost in the internet. Everybody's got a book. And so,
Mm-hmm.
you know, people are always like, "Oh, that's great, congratulations," but it doesn't necessarily translate into sales. But when you go to different events and people are able to look at you and look through your book and ask you questions, and they're like, "You know what? I think I like her. I think I'll check out her book and support." So going on book tours is something that's really important for authors to do. So I'm trying to figure that out. I'm trying to get myself out there more than I already am.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It's I totally agree with you. I think that's one thing I'm hesitant about publishing is there's so many amazing authors right there. I'm out there. It's like publishing. I'm just gonna be another bunch in the many bunches of people out there with books.
Okay, wait, hold on. Rewind that. Hold on. So just because it seems like everybody has a book, but it's not your book. It's
That's
not
true.
your voice. It's not your experience. And if you have the desire to publish, just publish. Don't worry about who's going to buy it. Just put it out there. You will find your audience.
I understand. Thank you. Yeah, I'll think about it.
Don't think about it, do it.
Do it.
Do it, do it, do it, do it.
Do it. Thanks for your advice, Miss Carla. Appreciate it.
Of course.
Carla Cherry book tour coming soon.
Tell us God's ears. Come on, Oprah.
You gotta let us
Yes.
know so we can support you, Miss Carla, when you do it.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna go back to the comments. Let's see here. Sierra Chankin. I'm sorry if I
Yeah,
butchered it.
changing. Yeah,
She said
deep.
deep. Poessence said beautiful voice as well. Amazing storytelling.
Aw.
Um,
Yes.
my mom, Barbara Marie, said, love it, Carla.
Thanks,
Poessence
Mom.
said, locks, the extension of a story.
Yeah,
Ooh.
lots.
Right.
Woo!
Gladys Moorebright said, locks are so beautiful. And Poessence said, Carla Cherry, when doing book tours, what's the most difficult question that you've had to answer? Oh, and Dami is in the building. Dami Afuye. And also, Poesson said, exactly, Heavenly Harmonies. Your craft is unique. Your words are crafted. Don't be afraid. That's right.
Oh,
Let her
thank
know,
you.
Poesson.
Thank
Don't be
you.
afraid, Heavenly
Okay.
Harmonies. Okay, don't be afraid.
Thank you guys. I feel the love. Thank you.
Yes. Okay, girl. You can do it.
I can do it.
um, so Shy, Moonlight, can you
Yes,
do another
ma'am.
poem for us?
I can. I'll do a poem that I wrote for my oldest daughter, who will be 18 a month from tomorrow.
Oh, nice. Woo.
I probably shouldn't have said that because it's gonna make me emotional when I do the piece, but
You're gonna be emotional
it's
like
not
Carl
long.
Thomas. It's okay, girl. It's okay.
It's not a long poem, and I've done it enough times that I think I can contain myself. Okay. On April 8th, 2007, the prettiest little girl was laid on my chest. I'd seen her big brown eyes in my mind before I knew she was in my womb, but at that moment, I chose to mother her. I chose raising her to be who God called her to be over finding out what my life could have been. Mind you, I was a child myself, just 6 months into adulthood, so far away from knowing womanhood, yet thrust by my own hands into motherhood. At least two statistics: teen and single.
Oh,
Now add in black. And the fact that her father would die before knowing that she would be born.
Mm.
So I
oh,
named her in an effort to combat all of that. Jazara. It is Ethiopian for blessed princess because despite my immaturity and his non existence, she would be blessed.
yes.
Mm.
Wow.
My ace is now 17, almost 18. Less than 1 year away from the age that I was when she was conceived, and she has grown to be my very best friend.
Oh,
She is naturally drawn to things that have always brought me joy. She has the quirkiest sense of humor, and she has my face copied, paste. Every time I look at her, I see those big brown eyes that I'd seen in my mind before I knew she was in my womb. That piece.
Mm.
oh my God, I'm in
Yay.
tears. You see me, I'm crying. Oh my
Oh,
goodness,
thank you.
I am crying. That's
Wow,
beautiful.
that
That
was.
was a shortened.
That
That
was
was a
so
shortened
pretty.
version of that poem because I don't
Oh,
have it all memorized. But thank you,
I'm in
thank you,
tears
thank you,
here.
thank you.
That was
It was
beautiful,
beautiful.
Shy. That was
It
so
was
pretty.
Zara, I
indeed.
wanna big up my baby because she is. I don't know if I mentioned, but I have 3 kids. Two of them are on the spectrum, and she is
Mm.
my biggest help. And so adjusting to the idea that she won't be in the household in the next 6 months is huge, but it's not her responsibility. I want her to live her life, and she
Mm.
is literally the coolest kid ever. She gets on my nerves. She's a teenager. She's my child, but she is the coolest kid ever, and I'm so grateful for her. And literally every time I see her, all I see is those big brown eyes. That honestly, the last time I saw her father before he passed, I told him before I knew I was pregnant. Every time I close my eyes, I see this beautiful, big cheeked, big brown eyed baby every time I close my eyes. I didn't even think I was pregnant. I was naive. I'm a little church girl, right? Okay. But those eyes are everything to me. And I'm so glad y'all received that poem in that way
Oh, it was
because
beautiful.
she's
The
It
poem
everything to
was
was.
me. Thank
gorgeous.
y'all so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh,
And
You
I can
dropping
relate
the ball,
too.
sis.
I can relate too because I lost my daughter's father when she was like 17 months old. So I can relate. But my teen noodle, she is 25 years old now. And it
Yeah,
seems like,
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that he passed on like a Wednesday, and I found out I was pregnant on that Saturday.
Wow.
wow.
Yeah,
Mm.
I went away to college. I live in South Carolina, Columbia, South Carolina. Went to Coastal Carolina, which is in Conway, Myrtle Beach, if you're familiar. And he passed away. My best friend, whose name is also Brittany, told her mama something ain't right with Brittany. My mama came and got me and asked me, "Could you be pregnant?" And I was like, "I mean, maybe." I didn't think about that, but I mean, I guess it's possible. And literally, I did not know. I was oblivious to all of that. And she is the biggest blessing. I would not. I like to think that I would have gone to Howard or Spelman or done all these amazing things if she wasn't here, but that ain't the case. She is here, and she has been the catalyst to all the things that have made me who I am today. And I'm so grateful for her, regardless. Yes, I was 19. I think I came into motherhood single, but she is everything to me, and I'm so proud of her.
A
My baby's
happy
going to college
birthday to
in a few
her.
months.
Yeah.
Yes, April
Happy
8th.
birthday.
Thank you, thank you, thank you,
Yeah.
thank you, thank you. I appreciate y'all. I'll be back. I'll be back.
You better come back.
That's
I'll be
right.
back.
And
Yes.
Shy, I went to Spelman. You would have fit in beautifully.
I wanted to go so bad. Me and my best male friend, he was gonna go to Morehouse. I was gonna go to Spelman. We was gonna be like this, but it's okay because we pick up our kids from the same after school program now. So it's okay.
See?
Up. Wow.
Yeah.
That is what's up.
Thank
Okay.
you. Thank y'all.
Yes. Yes. Carla, can you do another poem for us?
Sure. So this one is called With Good Fortune. It's called Nocturnal Logophthalmos.
Mm,
Kari's eyes are half open as he sleeps. When we visit Cousin James and Cousin Vivian asks, was he born with a call? Down south, they called it a veil. Those children can see and speak to ghosts, tell the future. There is no way I could know, I say. Cousin Vivian shakes her head, says, and wouldn't it be just like them to see a black child born with magic, keep it a
mm.
secret from its half asleep mother, who is flat on her back and can't see what is happening past her belly?
Yes.
All right, Carla.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Carla, can you describe what was going through your mind when you wrote that poem?
Oh,
I'm
good morning,
curious.
Heavenly Harmony.
Yeah, I when I decided to, well, okay, well, let me rewind. So this book, May He Bless My Name, was my thesis project for my MFA, and I was kind of making a list of experiences I wanted to write about. And I always remembered how I would watch my son sleep and his eyes were half open. And that memory just popped in my head about my cousin asking, if he was born with a call. And I was like, well, first of all, I didn't know what a call was. And yeah, that poem just came to me. I just kind of wrote the memory down and then that was it.
Mm.
I love the
That's
imagery in
beautiful.
it. I
Mm-hmm.
love
Absolutely.
the imagery in the poem. So I was curious when
Thank
you asked to know what was going through your mind.
Yeah, I had a picture in my mind. I remember my cousin and her hair color, and I remember the sun and how hot it was outside. I just remembered all of that. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Mm.
it was clear.
Well, thank you.
I'm a person. I having neurodivergent children. I realize it's a little bit of it in me. I got a little bit of autism too. Okay. so so the directness of anything, especially poetry, something I don't have to listen to 3 and 4 times to get the meaning of, I appreciate so much while still being creatively beautiful. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Thank you very much. And that's always a challenge. I look at poems that tend to get published, and some of them are dense like that. Like I'm sitting
Mm-hmm.
there like, what are they talking about? And people are like, oh, it's so deep. And I'm like, but I don't understand it. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't write that way. I want people to have a point of entry. I want them to be able to enter my poem and live in it for a minute and understand what's going on. And even if they don't understand everything, they'll at least be curious enough to find out. And I don't
Yeah.
they'll have to sit there and scratch their head and be like, what is she talking about? Like if it's something that they don't know, it's something that they can look up and still be able to experience the poem.
Yes,
Right.
yes, yes.
To live in it for the moment. That I love the way you said that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
That is what
Mm-hmm.
poetry is capturing the moment,
Mhm.
right? Capture the moment in words, in language.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Shai, you do that so well.
Yes. Thank
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I was
you.
sitting here I was like, what's gonna happen next? And just
Right?
Yeah, I love how she goes deep and then light again and it's deep. I'm like, wow. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yes.
Y'all, don't do
Yeah, your
that.
aura is just really strong.
Uh-huh.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes. So Rosie,
Have your Shy, did you read that poem to your daughter, to her? Did you read it to her?
So I did my first feature. I did my first open mic in March of last year. I did my first feature set, which was only like 10 minutes because I was trying to get through that thing quick, okay? But I did my first feature in July and she came. I encouraged her to come, so I was able to perform that poem for her and acknowledge her. I I didn't get through it. My voice cracked. I cried.
Oh.
But yes, she heard it. She's a teenager though, so she was just like, but Gen Z, okay, Gen Z. But she was just like, oh yeah, okay. she was proud, and I could tell in her own way that she is proud of me and that she appreciated that poem. And I try every single day to tell her how much, not to put pressure on her, that she is my reason. She has always been my reason, but of how much I appreciate who she is and how she is, and recognizing that she is literally a copy paste version of me, but so much better. So
Mm.
yes, long. I give long answers. Yes, yes. I'm sorry.
Love
You know what?
it.
But
The
you know what?
viewers
All
love
right.
it.
But you know what? I bet she bragged to her friends. My mother wrote a poem about me. So
Mhm.
they're very
I hope
nonchalant, like,
so.
yeah, but they remember. They remember.
I hope so. Yeah,
Yeah.
she. You know how them Gen Z kids be. They just be so like, oh yeah, okay,
Uh
well.
huh. Uh huh.
But yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. So, Rosalia, do you have any questions for Carla and Shy?
Yes. Let me go with Carla first.
Okay.
So, how much of the poem before this one did you actually live out? Because you said the 7 children.
Oh,
How much of that poem did we check off?
listen, I got through one child. Oh,
Understand.
I laughed when I wrote that poem because I was like, oh, I was so dumb. I had no
Not
idea
dumb.
about 7 children.
Oh.
But
But
even
it
though I never
captured.
got to 7 children, because I'm a teacher, I have mothered in my own way thousands
Yes.
of children.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you do. You do. And we
I
thank
think
you.
I think it captured that age wonderfully. Like that's the thought process. The hormonal, like, this is what I'm gonna do. You know what you're gonna do, but it's just driven by a lot of desires and wants. So I wanted to know how you handled that how you grew into it.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I did want to have more children, but I never found, that right partner for that. And so I was like, after I had my son, I was like, I'm not having any more children unless I find that right partner. I'm just not going to do it because it's too
Right.
hard.
Yeah, I feel you on that. I feel
Yeah.
you.
It's too hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, Shy,
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite love song? Love poem, excuse me.
Ooh.
Oh, it's gonna be one and
Ooh.
the same. Cause can a song be a poem?
Ooh.
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everything is always gonna come back to Jill Scott with me. I just want y'all to know.
Okay.
Okay.
He
I'm
loves me,
feeling from
Lizelle and E.
Philly.
Scott. He loves me, Lizelle and E. Sharp. Is that what it's called? Child, hold on. You know what I'm talking about. He Loves Me by Jill Scott. It's my
Yes.
favorite love song and love poem. And we're gonna go back to divorce, okay? For a moment, I lost the love for that song because I always told myself I was gonna walk down the aisle to it, and I did to the wrong
Mhm.
man. Okay. And so I for a minute, not that I never enjoyed the song, but it didn't have the same meaning to me. But that song, He Loves Me, especially different every time. Come on. It is my favorite. It means so much to me. And I always have felt like if somebody makes me feel like that song makes me feel, then I am in love and you ain't going nowhere. Not in a crazy way. but, but if you make me feel like that song makes me feel, we locked in. And I'm so grateful to have found a partner who helps me find not not that he helped me. The healing and the things, the work that I'm doing has helped me find the love for that song again. But I also have the love that that song represents to me, and I'm so
Yes.
grateful for it. and it's a song and a poem because Jill is a poet. So okay, it's always gonna come back. Let me cue that one up for next. Okay.
Okay.
I have a
Yes.
question for you too, both. Shai and Miss Carla, you both talked about how you both have grown so much in your writing. Um, how would you describe yourself from when you initially started writing to now that how you've grown? Like how would you describe that journey?
Carla,
Good
would you like to
question,
start?
Heavenly Harmonies.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I can go first. So when I first really started writing poetry, what my workshop facilitators would get on me about was my imagery. Um, I would go in, say what I gotta say, and then I'm out. And
Mm.
they would always push me to provide more figurative language and just really build imagery into my poetry. And it wasn't easy advice to hear, but I'm glad that I was open enough and vulnerable enough to say, okay, let me see how far I can push my work. So yeah, there's a big difference between myself as a poet when I was in my 20s and early 30s to now being in my early 50s. So yeah, that's what made me grow.
Awesome. Yeah, I can definitely see the imagery and it speaks louder for
Mm.
sure.
Do you mind repeating your question for me just so I make sure I'm answering the right question?
Of course. Shai, for you, you talked about how since you were 14 years old, you've been writing poetry, correct? And
Yes.
now, and just a year ago, you started actually sharing your poetry. I guess I was asking for you specifically, when you started writing poetry with a teenager, how have you grown? Have you seen yourself grown, and what helped you to grow through that journey?
Um, I think I mentioned earlier I was reading back on I have notebooks everywhere, okay? We are artists, we are poets, notebooks everywhere. I pulled out a notebook from 2005. I was 16, 17 years old. Just a few days ago. It was earlier this week and I started reading. I actually have a show on April 20th, which is like a one woman show and I'm going to do a live poetry album. And I saw this poem which was like my poetry is a like pretty much an image to my mind, a view to my soul, and all this. I was very determined to date everything, and so I was like, oh, I gotta save this for my show on April 20th. When did I write this? April 20th, 2005. Okay,
Oh, nice.
exactly 20 years ago from the date of this show, and not much has changed in my style. Not much has changed in what I'm writing about, which is a good and a bad thing because there are a lot of anxiety and depression poems from my teenage years. And to be 37, I just turned 37 last month, and to still have some of the same struggles um, can be a little disheartening, but I've always been true to who I am and what I'm going through in my writing. So the growth has been in the skill of it, in the way that I'm able to articulate it. The subject matter has remained the same, which again has been a good and a bad thing. Luckily and gratefully, all praises to the Most High, that there is healing happening in my writing more so now.
Hmm.
But to document where I was at 14, 15, 16, 17 years old, to 30, 31, 32, 30, 37 years old. Like I am, it is amazing to get confirmation that I have always been who I have always been. I am a big person to say that you don't ever have to assume a thing about me. I am transparent, I am honest, I am who I am, and I have always been. And that's something that I've been able to prove, not that I need to, that I've been able to prove through my writing. So hopefully that answered your question.
Oh
But
yeah,
yes,
that's yes, you did. Thank you.
thank you.
You mentioned healing, and so that word kept echoing in my brain, right? And so if I can ask a follow-up question,
Of course.
um, the healing that you speak about, is it healing internally that you speak about, or healing externally? Externally speaking, like, so the two type of poets that do or poets that does poetry and that writes poetry and he heals themselves,
Yeah.
right? And then a poet that writes poetry and he heals the recipient,
Mm.
the listeners. So when you speak of healing, are you speaking for both, or are you speaking for either or?
I have never written for anybody besides myself. Sharing the poetry that I've written for myself and seeing how it impacts and can help other people has been a blessing to me. However, I can't write anything that's not true to me. I can't write anything that doesn't come to me naturally, that I haven't experienced, that I don't know. One thing I had to tell the poet who I mentioned earlier, who really helped me with stage presence and getting on stage and so forth, spoken word, was that it's not a switch I can turn on and off. I'm getting into slam now. I told myself, I'm finally out here. I'm gonna start performing. I'm a spoken word artist. I'm gonna do all the things. I'm gonna do every slam. I'm gonna do everything. Every open mic, I'm gonna do everything. But one thing I cannot do is not be me.
Hmm.
So I'm not going to adapt anybody else's style or way of performing or anything. I can only do what's true to me. I can't turn the switch on and off. It's not acting to me. Poetry is who I am, who's who I've always been. And again, the confirmation comes from the poems that I wrote in 2002, 3, 4, 5. I've always only been true to who I am. So it's not necessarily for anybody else. I am grateful and I'm so blessed to see how it relates to and other people can relate to the words that God gave me, but it's just for
It's,
me.
it's for you.
That sounds super selfish, but it's just for me.
No, 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 no. No. It's the honesty is great because yeah, that's what poetry is. It's a form of healing to yourself, and it also
Absolutely.
then if it extends to heal someone else, that's a blessing, like you said. Yes.
The blessing. Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. Oh man, the time is going by so quickly. Goodness,
Yeah.
we're having such a good time.
Woo. Yeah. So much
I'm here
beautiful
for as long as you
poems.
need me, Mz.KIR.
Okay.
I just
um,
want to put that out there.
hey, we here. um, I almost forgot what I was about to say now. Goodness. Okay. So Shai and Carla, can you do your last poems for us? Grace us with your last poems for the night.
Yes, man. Who you start with?
Let's start with Carla.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see. So, okay. So I'm gonna read a poem called I'll do us. I'll do us. Okay. At the nursery, one of the nurses is surprised to see me. You walking around? God bless you. I sit with my son in the rocking chair, caress his skin, his fists, his feet. His pale skin has undertones of yellow, like the inside of a chestnut. I search for and find me in the curve of his eyes. I survey the skin around the beds of his fingernails to guess how brown he will become, a dark cashew. I cannot afford the naming ceremony with family and friends I wanted. So, in that rocking chair, in the crook of my left arm, I whisper his name in his right ear 3 times. Kwabena, born on a Tuesday. Kari, kingly. And Gozi, blessing. Knowing his first name will be mangled by many tongues, I choose his second name to be the first on his birth certificate. I sing Bob Marley's Three Little Birds until he falls asleep.
Yeah, drum roll. Woo!
Thank you.
Where's the
Beautiful.
drums in the comments, folks? Where's the drums and the snaps in the comments for Carla? Yes,
Woo!
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
yes.
Was that poem about your son, Carla?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just given birth to him, and so that's the poem.
Yeah.
That.
Beautiful.
Hmm.
Thank you.
You guys about
Yeah,
to
I
have me
love that.
emotional like Carl Thomas over here. Oh, goodness. Okay, Shy, it's your turn.
I will do a poem that I call Jill's daughter because I've
Yeah.
talked so much about her. I am Shy Moonlight, daughter of Jillscotttt. If not for her, there would be no me. Picture it, it was the year 2000. Showtime at the Apollo faded into BET Soul, and I saw myself in her cheekbones, her eyes, and her smile. The tone of her voice left me mesmerized as she ever so eloquently threatened to peel a muffin cap back blue. 5.99, something like that. I had no idea this genre existed. I snuck around my parents, who were super saved in the following days, and soon found myself taking a long walk around the park after dark. She was a poet, so I read the moments, the minutes, the hours in one sitting straight through. Decided that I wanted to be a poet too. I'd always kept a diary, but writing my first poem felt different. And I became a poet in that instant, and I never looked back, even when I tried to. Poetry became my confidant. My only form of expression, poetry became love. Love. Always all capitalized. So in 2010, I went to my first open mic. Hey, pretty people. Courtney the poet. Shout out to Courtney the poet out of Charleston. Hey, pretty people. Yes, these are my people, but I stayed silent in the corners of these venues for years. Attended every Neo Soul Sunday, the session live, and random shows in between but it wasn't until this year, last year, on the day that I made my 36th rotation around the sun, that I found myself, that I found my way from the page to the stage. But slowly, surely, within a month, I had done my first open mic. 3 months in, found Shai La Moonlight, a voice long overdue to be heard. So I will be. And I'm going to do poetry, all the things. I've been silent long enough. Y'all are going to know who I am. Oh, yeah. Welcome to the House of Yams, where the smell of honey molasses, ebony majesty, chocolate brown sugar, and sweet epiphanies linger in the air of my boudoir, where my divine feminine commands attention. Miss Jill taught me hand tricks that Miss Steffens missed. I am Brittany, Executive Secretary of Peace. I am New Danger's own Lieutenant Ani. I am Shai, the personification of destiny, moonlit, sunlit, ever changing. I am the daughter of spoken word and neo soul royalty. Peace to my elder earth. That's that piece. I butchered it a little bit, but that's that piece.
Well, we couldn't tell.
You can tell. I
Okay.
shouldn't have said nothing.
Right, 'cause we couldn't
Thank
tell.
you. I haven't done that in a while, but because I have mentioned Jill so many times, that is my story when it comes to Jill Scott and poetry and neo soul and all of the things. So I am so appreciative of this space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We appreciate you
Thank you for being a
sharing.
part.
Woo.
Thank you.
So, Rosalia and Heavenly Harmonies, do you have any final questions for our fantastic guest tonight?
Hmm.
I have comments. I don't have. So
Okay.
I want to say that Miss Carla, your poems felt like a hug.
Mm-hmm.
And yes,
You said that perfectly.
I could feel the emotion enveloping. And Miss Shai, I was with you. Your imagery is so that you bring us with you. So I felt like I was holding your hand through those poems and I loved it.
Thank
Hmm.
you. Oh.
So thank you, Miss Kier, for creating this beautiful space for us to share on Women's History Month.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Thank you for bringing these beautiful women here
You're welcome.
for everyone to experience.
Yes,
And that was
fantastic, phenomenal, phenomenal.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah, I echoed everything that was Leah says. You guys are amazing women. Two separate poets, two separate genre of poetry, but beautiful in its own standing. And I just enjoy it tonight. It's just been great. Shai, you said you're new at spoken poetry, but I can't tell. If you never said that, no one will
Right.
tell. No one will tell. If you never share that past, I would not know. So you're doing amazing. Your poetry is so good. Keep up,
Thank
keep
you.
doing it. Miss Carla, I appreciate your wisdom tonight, your encouragement to me. I appreciate seeing you where you are. I hope to be where you are someday. So I appreciate all the wisdom and advice you gave to us tonight. Yeah.
Can I
Well,
say something to Miss Carla?
hmm?
Can I say something real quick?
Go ahead.
To all of you, hosts especially, thank you so much for having me. Miss Carla, you are beautiful inside and out. Your energy invigorates me. I appreciate you. You are the kind of poet that I have always admired. And I love to see poets that embody the energy that I have always wanted to be. So I appreciate you. I just want to say that I appreciate you. And your locks are beautiful. You're beautiful. I thank y'all so much for this space. It means so much to me, more than I can express. It means so, 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 so much to me. Thank y'all so much.
Yeah, thank you. And
Welcome.
shout back at you. Beautiful sister, you are just beautiful and I'm so proud of you. And the way that you perform your poetry, your voice, your persona, your energy, that's what I want to do when I get on the stage. I get on stage, I'm like, da 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 da. All right, thank you, good night. Like I hate being on the stage, and so I want to get to where you are. So thank you.
I'm working on it. Thank you so much.
So,
I've tried so hard not to cry, but the tears need to come. Thank y'all so much.
here's a joy. And ladies, thank you so much. This was an honor and a pleasure. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Well, I
I
just
will
want
I will be back. I will
to,
be
yeah,
back to
Yes.
view and support Mz.KIR. You are a blessing.
thank
Yes.
you. Thank
Mhm.
you.
Yes.
I just want to thank you all for coming on and being a part of this podcast. Shy Moonlight Girl, Carla, whew.
We're
So,
connected. We locked in, Mz.KIR.
yes.
We
Oh,
locked in.
yes. Rosalia, well, me and Rosalia, we go back. We go back. We go way back. um, Heavenly Harmonies, thank you so much for agreeing to co-host. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. I love it. Thank you.
And I appreciate you, Rosalia, for co-hosting once again. Bless your heart.
You know
Oh,
I'm always gonna
Rosalia,
come if
with
you
the good
ask.
questions.
Right. And Carla and Shai, I gotta have you guys come back because
Yes,
you're
ma'am.
phenomenal. And
We
Anytime,
need
anytime,
update.
anytime.
Yeah.
yes. And I want to give a shout out again to all those who watching. Poets and Spoken Word, folks, get her book, A Journey Through Her
Keep
Eyes,
it
A
straight.
Palindrome of Poetry. Get Poetson's book. Shout out to my mom, Barbara Marie. Next
Come
week,
on, Miss Barbara.
Pretty Ugly. I
Woo.
low self-esteem nearly ruined my life. That's my mommy, folks. Gotta show my mom some love.
I gotta get that. I
And
gotta get that, Mz.KIR. Send me the link directly.
Yes, please do.
okay. Shout out to again to Donna Banks and Teresa Hazel Eyes. North Philly, where you at tonight, man? And shout out to Genevieve How she will be co-hosting next week.
Okay.
And let's see. Thank you for tuning in, Sierra Achenkin and Gladys Moore Bryce from Small Business Network. Also, shout out to Commissioner Dr. James McConnell from the Small Business Network for tuning in. Dami Afuye for tuning in. Jonathan Ware, Collins Lamour, author Debbie D. Let's see who else. My cousin, Zaranya Lewis. Thank you for tuning in. Oh, okay. Um, Thank you, cousin Zaranya Lewis, for tuning in. Isha Yakov, cuz, where you at tonight? Um, also want to shout out my other cuz, Scott Jacob. Scott Jacob, where you at, man? And shout out to William Washington and um, Geronimo Speaks. He will be on. He was supposed to be on last week, but there was some technical issues he was dealing with. So he will be on sometime soon. I don't know exactly when, but shout out to Geronimo Speaks.
Soon and very
And
soon.
yes, and thank you to all the previous guests, Jay Silent Night, aka Rice Aroni, man. Speaking of Right Cerrone, he's got an open mic tomorrow. Uh, what time? I think 6:30 to 8. I don't know. Let me know, SK, when you come into the comments, if that's the right time. Shout out to Haru. Where you at, Haru? um, and shout out to everybody who watches faithfully each Friday. And for the new viewers, I'd like to thank you as well. Let's see, do I have any announcements? Yes, the Writer's Block open mic coming Saturday, July 19th. Mark your calendars. Saturday, July 19th, the Writer's Block presents our annual open mic in Donaldson Park in Highland Park, New Jersey. So if you're in Jersey or in the tri-state area, come through. We're looking for performers. So come on down. Come on down.
I might have to come down for that.
Yes. And let's see, what other announcements do I have? Oh, yes, April is National Poetry Month. So I'm going to be doing an open mic. So if anybody is interested, come on down. Come on down. It'll be on a Friday. And yeah, for the first 2 weeks of April, it's open mic. So come on down. Come on down.
Is that gonna be live or
Yes,
a live open mic?
yes. Online live.
Okay.
Just like this, but an open mic.
Way
Okay.
online.
Yes. And let's see, what other
Where can
announcements?
you watch it online?
I'm sorry.
Where do you watch it online?
Well, I'm gonna post it.
You want to post it? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. Any other announcements?
Do you
Gotta
mind
get
if I
it.
say something real quick? Promote a little
Good.
bit?
Go ahead.
Okay. I am based in Columbia, South Carolina. So if you are in South Carolina or the area, Charlotte, Atlanta, somewhere commutable, we have lots of poetry events happening in the area. Every third Sunday, I host a show at Lux Life Lounge, 6729 Two Notch Road in Columbia, South Carolina. My partner, Bugsy Calhoun, who is a staple in the South Carolina poetry community, is always doing great things. I am co founder of a nonprofit, Peace, Poetry, Entertainment, Arts, Community, and Education, where we have an arts infused outreach program for the community. Specifically, my committee is Strength, Courage, and Wisdom, which is focused on caretakers of people with special needs, single mothers, fathers, parents of caretakers, whatever. We have get togethers, we have a monthly meetup, but we also have a group chat where if you just need to let some stuff off, we're going to say stuff. If you just need to
Wait,
let some
you said
stuff
shit.
off and you need support, it is a community that I built for myself because it's something that I needed. Where come on in. If you need it, add me on Facebook. I am THE_SHAI_POET on Instagram and TikTok. I am Brittany BRITTANY Jones on Facebook. Add me, connect with me. Let's do work in the community. Let's do poetry. Let's collab. It is all love. Love always. It's right here. It's tattooed on my arm. You can't see it. Love always. It's all love. Thank you so much, Miss KIR, for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
Opportunity.
And with that being said, I want to wish everyone love, peace, hair grease, edges, because edges matter. Don't let nobody
Mhm.
tell you that edges do not matter. They matter. Hashtag edges matter. Okay. Hashtag they matter. Okay. And with that being said, you guys be breezy out there. Okay. Be breezy. And we'll see you next week when my mom will be.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Good night.
Beautiful ladies.
Love you.